proactive, integrated, and strategic look at promoting employee wellness and engagement. So really elevating it as a executive suite business priority. And the actions that you can take within this that enable employees themselves to flourish. So giving employees a context by which they can think about wellness as well as their own engagement of themselves, but also their teams. So in terms of the benefits by which we approach this, we took it from 4 areas. Of course, this is not fully exclusive. There are others, but the 4 by which we felt we could derive most benefit were foremost improved productivity. Second was richer diversity. Third was greater and improved retention. And ultimately, increased employee engagement holistically across the board. So I think that is an output in many ways of the 3 other points. In terms of defining engagement, I just pulled out a Cannes quote from 1990 in terms of how to define engagement. So for us, really considering when people are fully connected to their work roles in the sense of investing high levels of personal, physical, cognitive, and emotional energy in their work. And why I picked this quote is when I go into what we've branded as our Vibrant Living program, how we really have thought about it beyond or in 3 dimensionals from a physical, body, and mind point of view. So what I'm going to share with you is P&G Vibrant Living, Unleashing Your Energy. And this is the banner by which we engage our employees. We have a number of subset programs which are leveraged under this banner, so which employees, when we're introducing something in this area or talking about it or refreshing, that we continue to keep it under this program so employees know that it is about this well-being area. So what and why are we doing this? We're doing it for a couple of reasons. First, we're unifying P&G's health and wellness program. So we're not having or decoupling our health programs with other wellness activities that may exist. So we're bringing it all under one umbrella. We're offering ease of access to simple health and wellness information, both on a site but also electronically. We're also helping P&G employees and their families to become healthier, more engaged people in the world. And again, this is a global program, so hence the qualification around these being global statements. And you'll notice there the extension to the family. Obviously, when it comes to health and wellness and engagement, having obviously been healthy, having oneself been healthy, but also having those within your extended family or partners is also very important. We also want to help employees in their efforts to improve and maintain their health and wellness. Fundamentally, we believe that's the right thing to do, and help employees make every day a healthy day. So are there ways in which we can engage employees via this program in multiple ways, through multiple avenues, through multiple communications, events, activities, so that it isn't just a one-off bespoke initiative, but it really is part of the nomenclature and also becomes the norm in terms of expectations of employees. The 3 pillars which I talk about, and linking back to the definition The first of which is we've broken it into body, mind, and agility. And I'll take a little bit of time to go through each of these pillars and share with you some examples of the types of things that we have thought about in these areas. Again, the execution of each of these pillars does vary. It may vary by work location, type of operation, the market in which we're operating in, the framework for and balance between what is the partnership between state-provided help and support in these areas and also industry provided. So we do have the flexibility to, as a market and as various sites, to approach this in different manners of engagement. So I give you that context just in terms of it's not a, it provides framework and it provides best the opportunity for us to share across our organizations, but it also gives flexibility depending on the employee makeup or the type of work that's going on in a particular business. You can imagine how we might approach or the barriers or opportunities we have, certainly in some manufacturing sites versus a commercial site versus our field-based or location-free based employees may differ. So we have to find ways to engage employees in all of those contexts, not just in one. So I'll start with just a kind of overall couple of examples of what we have in each of these. Top line, as I say, we keep it simple. When we think about body, what I will share with you today is talk around health services, stress management, approach to nutrition, and P&G Health and Beauty Alive. In terms of mind, I'll talk about corporate athlete, life balance, 80-20 help, strength training, and on agility, tools on how to best leverage P&G's flexible work arrangements, as well as generation-wide training modules. So pillar one, so within our health service area, this is an area where we're really looking at ensuring that our occupational health becomes more than a walk-in kind of clinic service or reactive, but really finding ways to engage our occupational health organization and our employees in thinking about proactive or personal ownership in terms of their health. And we do this really through a collective partnership between the occupational health organization, human resources, as well as our facilities to ensure that not only from a design and accessibility to this service, but also in terms of ensuring that when we have opportunities to communicate or engage employees or leverage some of our benefit programs, that there are links back to our health services. Examples of this are across a number of our sites. We run periodically, either quarterly or half yearly, what we call Vibrant Living festivals. And what we use those festivals to do is really to re-energize the organization around the Vibrant Living program. So we may have activities which help employees think about aspects that would support the mind pillar, the body through our gym services or outdoor activities, or agility in terms of thinking about better ways to work, smarter ways to work, ways in which to manage and balance their flexibility. During those festival weeks, very much so, our occupational health group are part of engaged in developing those, and then helping us take some of the emerging trends we may see from our occupational health data, from our medical trend data, say what are some of the emerging trends that we want to really bring to the forefront and engage proactively on. So some of those can include recent ones in terms of how we look at some of the stresses that are on employees given the external environment, economic environment, challenges they're facing, and really also helping managers really understand and figure out how they can recognize some of those symptoms, not to become experts in this area, but really to become more sensitive to some of the signs of stress. And they've been very successfully run, and again, just an example of how we've partnered in this area. A second point here is, I know EAP is a common offering across many organizations, but again, ensuring that it's not we're bringing it again to the forefront as an offering both to employees and their families as something that's available to help it, support them, beyond the general medical coverage or the clinics that we have here, but a service that's available there. So we bring it and put it under this umbrella. Again, I talked about stress being one of the areas where we've partnered in this. So we have, for example, we've developed, building on that point, building on the Vibrant Living Festival, we've also equipped our HR managers to partner with their various customers to really engage line management and teams to talk openly about this and find ways to really manage not only the stresses, but the work-life balance, talk about a topic around burnout, how to manage recreation, and also provide managers with toolbox to detect and help manage their own personal stress. And again, making that link came back to our occupational health group. And again, this has been something that has certainly been appreciated and engaged our employees and line leaders to ensure that they feel supported, but also help employees feel they're supported and in turn drives their engagement either by one through the caring nature of this, but also through the fact that in many cases they've been able to use it to their own benefit. The second area I want to talk about was in relation to nutrition and P&G Health and Beauty Alive. From a nutrition standpoint, what we've done in this area, for example, is we also, across varying sites, have really, and again in partnering with some of our external providers who manage our cafeterias, is by providing, a balanced and varied nutritional options from a catering point of view. So, and we've been able to emphasize in our cafeterias where we actually call out, vibrant living eating options, which employees know by definition are kind of like the healthy option or the more healthy option to consider. So again, emphasizing that. We've also been able to look at when we come to obviously managing price and costing, that we ensure that we also balance, put the appropriate weighting towards these offerings as well. And across our sites, for individuals who have visited a P&G site, you'll also see days of the week when we'll put fruit out for people to use, or emphasize some of the healthy nutrition aspects across some of our, what I call it, the cafe areas that may be in some of our larger sites. So again, this is something that gets people to think about their, taking their own personal health, have better understanding of what they're eating by providing the appropriate information at the point of sale so that they can make those decisions, and again, helps drive the culture, the vibrant living culture that we're trying to create. We haven't eliminated necessarily all options because we don't want to, people to obviously be able to make their own personal choice. But we are providing the option for people who want to embrace aspects of this for them to get engaged. And the second area here wanted to highlight was making the connection between some of our products and how those products can, help improve life or individual health. So you'll see this whether it's in our oral care business, skin care business, hair care business. There are correlations between the products and obviously personal health as individuals as well. So bringing what we do, what we make as a company to life, and for those individuals who work on those products, so making the connection there. The second pillar that I want to talk about is mind. And I appreciate some of this. I'm giving a very top-line overview. I wanted to talk about examples and how we're connecting it. So hopefully at the end, as I said, we'll have time for questions. The second area is mind, and this is probably one of the more complex areas or complex subjects. When we think about this, it's balancing, a sense of feeling for employees. So we want to ensure that there's a sense of fulfillment at work, but also a sense of fulfillment outside work. And this can certainly show up in a number of ways. For example, the satisfaction of family and loved ones, individual health and well-being, relationships, but also time and how individuals decide to use it. When we look at it, we think about a balance. So this is a simple triangle here, which we're trying to get the balance between obviously the employee, the company, and the manager. So we see those as influencers towards each other in terms of how to manage this work-life balance interfaces. As we've looked at this area, obviously there's a lot of research on the issue, and I take out a couple of quotes here. So at most, our personality can sometimes only explain 30% of our behavior. The remaining 70 is explained by the social context or the environment which we find ourselves. So the implications of that are the underlying environment determines how people behave. So if we want to change behavior, in many ways we need to change the environment or ensure that the environment supports that the behavior that we're trying to achieve. And in the context of this is the healthy and wellness environment that we are trying to drive. So what do you need to do? So tweak the environment so as to make the right behaviors a little bit easier, and make the wrong behaviors a little bit harder. So a few examples, and you might be able to tie this back to in terms of what we're doing relative to highlighting some of the activities from a cafeteria wellness point of view. So how do you get hotel guests to reuse their bathroom towels? How do you get people to be tax compliant? So these were just two examples, and a lot of it comes in the context of how you frame it. So the example on the towel one is the majority of guests at this hotel reuse their towels at least once. So the sense of, okay, it's not a stick. It's, this is something that people are engaging in, something that will drive the behavior. On the tax one, more than 90% of citizens comply with the obligations under the law. So why do I give you these examples? We have two programs that we are focused on specifically in this area. The first of which is Corporate Athlete. And Corporate Athlete is a program which we've been engaging with for numerous years, and the concept here is when you have an athlete, professional athlete, they train for their big event, they're conditioned for a certain match or a certain component, they work a plan building up to the match. This is a program that really brings that into the context of a corporate environment. So, we all need to be on our game day in, day out. We don't have those necessarily always have the big one-off events that we're building towards, the Olympics or World Cup. We may be doing those, may have one of those every week or every day in many cases. So what are the things that we can do with our employees, or tools we can give our employees to ensure that they are able to really become the best at what they do within a corporate environment. What the program teaches our employees is, who have attended, is that they are able to learn to better balance their physical, their emotional, and mental energies. There are some employees who really have changed their life based on this. There are others who have been able to identify ways in which they can understand when they are reaching certain stress points or their energy is low, so they make adjustments in their schedule or in how they're approaching that day. Very simply, some of those aspects are in terms of explaining how individual human energy works in terms of, from a nutritional standpoint, in terms of what to eat, when to eat, what can drag your energy down, what can help bring it up, and giving tips in terms of simple things like if you're traveling a lot, how to do a workout in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just by using some simple tools in a hotel room. Others can be ensuring that when you've finished your lunch, take a walk around your building, get air again to build energy. And again, we've trained thousands of employees on this, and I think everyone that has attended it has got a certain degree of benefit out of it via some of these some of the training elements. The second area is life balance. So this is finding tips on how best to learn to find your personal balance in life. It's about life balance, with work only being one part of that. So examples of how we do this for well-being. We actively engage employees in educating them on well-being and healthy living. Some of those examples that I've shared. Using senior leaders as role models. For example, when I talk corporate training, that really started top-down within in the organization. A lot of senior executives went through this and learned from it and became advocates as well as trainers. And as I said, it wasn't everyone had to embrace every aspect of it. In many ways, every individual who attended got something different out of it that would help them. Break down presenteeism culture by role modeling at the top. Having Vibrant Living focused weeks twice per annum, the minimum. As I talked about, that's the Vibrant Living festivals. We had a program to ensure that we had incorporated gyms on site for at all our major sites that had a certain employee number threshold. For those that didn't, finding ways to partner with local providers to support that, and then again using that, ensuring that there were certain standards in there, and bringing the branding to life. You see the restaurant common there, subsidized salad bars, again, making the healthier option more cheaper, and again highlighting what the healthy option for lunch was in the canteen, and introducing where they didn't exist, or sports or social aspects to work and sponsoring that. So, for example, at the site I'm at, we run kind of, there's plenty of, we don't have a physical social club, but we support employees who want to get involved in basketball or football or whatever to again support this program. The third pillar that I want to focus on is agility. And specifically in this area, I want to talk about flexible work arrangements and how we've used flexible work arrangements to ensure that we attract top talent to the organization, but also in terms of retention of top talent. Top talent, not necessarily defined as all individuals who will become the future CEO or functional leaders, but individuals who are strong contributors to the organization and bring a set of skills and capabilities to the organization that's obviously valued. So the employees go through different life stages that may require flexibility. They require them to on and off ramp from a certain career path that they're on. But we want to ensure that we recognize that that is part of life, and that we have the right policies in place to enable employees to balance their life. So when we talk about attraction of top talent, we see with our Gen Y talent pools that there are certain mindsets and beliefs within this generation that it's not necessarily important where, but at what time you work. The outcome is most relevant. So, ensuring that, again, we're doing these things, we're ensuring that we create an environment of flexibility, culture of flexibility, and we also have the appropriate support in place to enable that. We have these in place because we believe that from a attraction point of view, they will benefit us and can be a competitive advantage for employees who offer them. Similarly, full agility when you think about time at school and university, that for employees coming in, that they need to be able to manage, within the agility that works for them, again, tying back to the outcome that's most relevant. So what does this mean on us as an employer? the ability to enable home office working, ensuring that we have all the appropriate technologies in place for individuals to connect virtually, providing opportunities for location-free roles, part-time, flexible break, become as much as a natural right for employees. And then especially a need for regular feedback. Both managers and Gen Y employees need to openly communicate about their work and the usage of technical support. So we're very much encouraging a culture within this area that doesn't necessarily all about policy, but as much about line managers and employees, organization leaders understanding what the needs are at an individual basis in terms of what type of flexibility do they need, and ensuring that the appropriate support is in place should and when they need that to enable them to stay engaged but also manage the balance. From a retention of talent, obviously, for everyone on the phone, this may seem obvious, but we want to recognize not only by the benefits and the policies that we provide from a flexible work arrangement point of view, but we want to also ensure that how we plan individual careers also recognize these points as well. So as we've evolved into this program, we have gone through and looked at what are those disciplines or functions where we tend to not retain employees who have embraced more flexibility versus where are those functions that have retained more employees having utilized a flexible work arrangement or come off a career break, a sabbatical, etc. So we've been able to use those insights to, again, help those disciplines find ways to design their career models differently, not only in terms of what they say, but also in terms of what they do from a planning point of view and in terms of managing job succession planning, but also progression management, so that they don't become barriers, that they just become part of the normal way of life. And then obviously with growing business demands, more global, speed of information, speed at which the global talent pool is evolving as well. This even requires us to pay even more attention to keeping employees engaged during these times, because it can be constant for many at different points of their career. So how do we know that we're being successful in this area? We do have data via our annual employee engagement survey, and we have seen that if I just look back on the last 3 years, that employees who have two measures here. One is where we have employees who have engaged in a specific flexible work arrangement. So that could be a compressed work week, that could be a reduced schedule, that could be a, every other Friday work from home. We have seen a correlation between those employees who identify as having one of those flexible work arrangements and their overall engagement score as we measure it. Similarly, we look at employees who have participated in programs like corporate athlete that I've mentioned, and we have seen that, again, individuals who have participated in those programs will score higher from an engagement standpoint, and particularly in areas where we measure work-life balance as a category for employees. So we're able to, over time, determine whether we are focusing on the right programs, but also learn from those parts of the organizations who have may have seen increased or more increased engagement and productivity in these areas, so that we can reapply elsewhere. So finally, before I close, I just wanted to cover a couple of points. These are just myths that we use internally with some internal training. First of which is success is all about striving for more, never enough. The reality that we've found is that success is about being clear on what's truly important in all aspects of life and finding ways to integrate that. So that can be in terms of what is clear and driving clarity from a action plan or priority point of view, but also providing employees with the appropriate tools to think about how to balance the other commitments and pressures that they have beyond the four walls of work. Second one, success is all about being in balance. Again, we found that general can be wrong, so it's about making choices and being at peace with them. No matter how balanced we are, change, which is always present, will knock us temporarily out of balance at times. So we need to be nimble and have the agility to adapt. And as a company, we need to be able to provide the environment, the culture, and the appropriate support mechanisms to support that, so that they don't feel that the less nimble part or the non-adaptive part is the work side, so that we provide the appropriate support. And the third one, which I'll share, is that success is all about working harder and managing your time. So again, it might sound a little cliche, but success is about working smarter, including managing your energy, and that's your most critical resource. So how can you keep your energy at the appropriate level? Can you see yourself, again, this is a rhetorical question, but can you see yourself keeping this pace up for the next 10 to 20 years? And how are you going to find the ways to balance within that?
Thank you. That was really interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm just going to open it up to all the attendees now for questions for Niall here. We've just got one that's been sent through to us from Amanda Williams, and she has asked, have P&G been able to identify which of the three pillars is having the most impact and has informed how the program has evolved?
That's a great question. Let me think about. I would say there's probably two areas there's pockets within areas. I would say within the mind pillar that our corporate athlete has been very successful, but it's an area where we're thinking about what's next. So we've gone through this and spent a lot of time in terms of educating employees and educating managers to think around this. So probably mind is one area we're thinking about what next. I would say holistically where we've, and certainly within the UK, where we've had the most comprehensive success would be from an agility standpoint. And I say that due to the fact that we've been able to embed that concept and embed that more into the culture, both in terms of the environment that we operate in, the way in which we recruit, the way in which we develop people through their careers, and also how we see it through role modeling of our leadership in this area. And I'd say then second will be body, where we continue to make progress on the high base. But I'd say the mind one's probably the one where we need to, it's where the company's working in terms of what would be next.
Thank you. Next question is from Lucy Whitehall, and she has asked, what resistance do you typically come across from managers at all levels, and how do you tackle this?
I think that the number one area would be the good old time. So in terms of how do we articulate certainly those aspects of programs that are in place where it requires time of an organization or individuals on a team to participate. So in that context, as we think about in many of the learning deliveries that we have to do, is we have to find ways in which we can, break them out modularly, or find other ways to deliver them at the individual level, and not necessarily always being, bringing people outside of for multiple hours outside of the workday. I would also say is how do we, when we have programs of flexibility, we also get different questions in terms of how do we apply those to different work environments. So how do we bring this to life in a plant environment where people are operating on shift versus an office environment where it's very easy to walk away from your desk and apply some of these behaviors. Similarly, where we have large service centers. So that's why I said when you have the three areas, we're not terribly prescriptive. So we spend a lot of time figuring out how to, what are the things that will resonate with that management, with that employee base, so that we get the pull, so we don't come down with this prescriptive, we want all sites to do this. We try and sell through more the concepts and the direction we're going. And then finally, what I say is the concept of vibrant living is pretty much now alive across the organization. The challenge we face is coming forward with what's new. So the example I'll give is when we have Vibrant Living festivals, these Vibrant Living weeks, in order to engage employees in terms of participating in the offerings that we're providing, we need to ensure that they continue to be relevant and that there's also something new there to the challenges that are either being faced today, the business environment, or an emerging trend. So how we've looked at those festivals is what can we design in that will help with job demand, which is a consideration today. What can help from a personal well-being point of view, so you've got a health aspect to it, and then also what can help from a driving energy. So we try and find something within those buckets that will resonate with the population at that specific site or that business unit.
Fantastic, thank you. Another question is from Joanna, and she has just asked, in terms of the mind pillar, stress is addressed, but are common mental health problems like depression and anxiety directly addressed?
They, what we don't prescribe is to make all our other HR professionals or line leaders certainly experts in this area. What we try and do in this area is ensure that we are raising the appropriate awareness among employees so that they can recognize in advance of when they are feeling that they may be stress might be getting too much for them and it may be developing into something else. And in those cases, that's where the partnership with the experts in our occupational health group, our medical staff, as well as our EAP program that we engage there. So the more that we're trying to engage in this in as much as a proactive way, but we do ensure that we have the right support structure in place to deal with cases where employees require help in this area.
Fantastic. A question from Leah. Who is your occupational health provider and are they all on your site? Are they on all of your sites?
Yes, we have occupational health. We have our own internal group. So they are P&G. We have a P&G medical organization. And at all of our sites, we have either full-time, particularly at our large sites across the UK and Ireland, or part-time, i.e. a couple of hours a day or days a week via clinics, via our occupational health nurse and doctor staff.
Perfect. And a question from Stephanie from Viola. How does P&G build trust on remote working? Older managers probably more likely to be suspicious with an employee that doesn't work under their eyes. How do you promote the culture shift?
That's you know, we continue to face that challenge. You know, across multiple sites, businesses, and different countries. What I would say in terms of how we have tackled it is, first of all, we have our senior-most leadership are highly engaged and supportive of it. So we have driven strong leadership endorsement as well as role modeling in this area. So we have, you know, our senior-most sales, marketing, technical leadership, as well as our general manager for the UK, who are role modeling the types of behavior, not only in terms of leveraging formal flexible work arrangements, but also demonstrating it through their behavior. And then where we have examples where we want organizations to embrace it more, we ensure that in advance of somebody who is interested in either supporting it or an employee who is interested in taking up a flexible work arrangement and it hasn't been done in the past, through the HR team and those line leaders who are willing to give it a try, we ensure that the appropriate work and diligence is done in advance to ensure that there's very clear expectation setting, not only for the manager but also the employee in terms of what is expected, ensuring that they have the right support from a connectivity standpoint, not just electronic connectivity, but they stay connected back to the work team, and that the appropriate review points are in place as well to ensure that even if a line leader may only be comfortable with trialing it, we do ensure that they have the ability to review it post the several months in or a year in. And then finally, what we do is where we have success stories, we publish them and we shout about them. So we point to examples where it works, and where you have good examples of where it works, we find that breeds more good examples, and the debate for why it can't work becomes less.
Great. Question here from Karen Roberts. She has asked, how has your EAP contributed to P&G's understanding of stress in the workplace, and how has it contributed to this program?
Through our occupational groups connection through our EAP provider as well as our medical provider, they are able to sort of gain individual, but gain perspective and trend data, not only from in terms of what they're seeing within the organization, but also providing us with helpful perspective in terms of the types of things they're seeing from an industry or market point of view. So what we do is we try and bring those insights back in internally with our leadership, so that when we're focusing on things like stress management or managing in difficult business times, putting it a different wording around the same matter, is that we bring it to the forefront so that people don't shy away from discussing it. So with data works well within our culture. So when we have data and we have insight, we tend to capture the attention of our leadership, and they do understand the correlation in terms of driving overall employee engagement and productivity, and people feeling that they are in balance and control of their work and life schedule.
Great. This is probably the last question I think we've got time for, and it's from Lucy Whitehall. What results in nutrition, what results do you find with healthy eating options? Are people choosing to be healthy?
I don't have a specific statistic on my head in this area, but what I would say is that we are seeing a trend towards people, not necessarily in nutrition, but there might be a correlation, but we are seeing a trend in terms of enrollment towards our gym schedule, our gyms, as well as the workout or health options that we offer via those providers. We do know that via the healthy option route that we provide in our cafeterias, and the fact that they're subsidized, that those options are availed of broadly across the board. But in terms of, so I think it will be more qualitative data than quantitative data in this area. What we do have in other markets is where there's a correlation between individuals. We have a program in the U.S. where health costs are a significant portion of company and employee company expenditure, where individuals who have engaged in healthy, not only healthy physical awareness, but also nutritional awareness, that in those cases there is a correlation between that and their overall health as measured by the health providers.
Great, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, and it's been great to hear about your program. So thank you very much for doing this webinar for us. I just wanted to highlight a few things from the Workwell campaign that we've got coming up. The next webinar that we've got is on the 7th of March, and it's on the vital role of line managers in wellness and engagement. So please do sign up to that, and there is a link there to register your attendance for the webinar. We've also got our Workwell Award for Excellence deadline coming up on the 5th of March. So if you're thinking of entering our awards this year, please do download a pack from our website. And lastly, we have got Business in a Communities Responsible Business Convention coming up in March. Got an amazing lineup of speakers, and Erwin Lee, who is the Managing Director for Procter Gamble, is going to be speaking at that as well. So do have a look at the programme and information on the website. So thank you very much for joining this. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you will join our next webinar on the 7th of March. Many thanks.
Thank you.